Hello, friends. This is Vasha Carmenicus from Genius and Ink newsletter, and I'm recording this video to invite you all to join my Dante the Divine Comedy Readalong, which is launching in January 2025. I have to say, Dante's Divine Comedy is one of my favorite books of all time, mainly because I kind of grew up with it. My father is a huge admirer of Dante. I think he learned Italian in order to be able to read Dante in its original language, the way the great poet wrote it. And what is fascinating is that when I was growing up as a teenager, each time I came to my dad to ask for some advice during the challenging times, he always managed to quote Dante straight away by heart, and each time this piece of wisdom that he found was new. I was fascinated by his ability to recall entire verses from Dante, which perfectly matched the challenging situation that I was facing at the time. And I remember I used to tell to my friends that my dad knows this book by heart, this thick book. And I remember we used to test him and he always succeeded, never failed. And I have to say, kind of, the only thing that I regret about my reading journey is that I haven't read Divine Comedy sooner. I think I could have read it earlier in life and many things would have been perhaps different. But as they say, when the student is ready, teacher will come. And when I was ready, when I was mature enough, this book landed in my hands. Mysteriously, non-mysteriously, I don't know. Why you should read this book, why you should read Dante's Divine Comedy. And I can write an entire book on this, and there are entire books written by some great minds on why one should read this, but I'll give you two great reasons. The first reason, I'll tell it in the fashion of my father by quoting Dante himself, because Dante has a line where he says, "Consider your true origins. You were formed not to be brutes, but to follow knowledge and virtue." And I do think that in our modern education system, school education system, wherever you live in the United States, UK, where I am now, or Russia, China, I think we are taught at school about the laws of physics, laws of chemistry, biology, but we are never taught about the laws that govern our inner world. We are often left alone to figure this out ourselves, and I think it is literature that serves this purpose. And I think one of the greatest masterpieces that can teach this is Dante, because he tells us that he finds himself in the forest dark. He lost the right way, he essentially ruined his life, and I think he says that my past doesn't make sense and the future looks unclear. And I think each one of us, to a degree, face this at least once in life. And the beauty of Dante is that he essentially tells us that sometimes we need to descend to hell in order to go through purgatory and then end up in paradise in heaven. This means that in order to be fulfilling in your inner world, you need to go and examine your foolishness, in a sense, as it was said, that unexamined life is not worth living. And I think one of the things that Dante tells us is that we need to go through the circles of our weaknesses, foolishness, stupidity, mistakes, and then to come up fresh and new and find the right path. And this is kind of very brief. And the second reason is because it is a beautiful work. It is, to a degree, an encyclopedia, as one scholar said. It is an encyclopedia that encompasses Greek mythology. We meet Odysseus there. We meet Stoic philosopher Seneca. We see Virgil, the great poet, and we meet many great poets there across our journey. Every kind of mythical hero, great poet, everyone is mentioned in Dante, and it is kind of an encyclopedia, not in a sense that it's from A to Z, but it's more like a beautiful story, a big circle in it that connects everything together in a beautiful narrative. I think it is just amazing, the genius of Dante to connect every subject from science to philosophy and theology together to give a beautiful worldview. And what is the purpose? Why you should, first of all, join our read along? Why not to read the Divine Comedy alone at home without joining any book clubs, anything like that? It is an option. I think one of the reasons why I would like to do a read-along of Dante altogether is because it's a work that all of us can understand differently. And the purpose of this read-along is, by the end of it, I want to tell to myself, and I'm hoping that if you join, you will achieve this result as well, is that you'll be able to say that you know the Divine Comedy. You know it. And by knowing, I mean that it changed the way you act. This is what knowing is for me, is that I can say that I know a book, is when I can change the way I acted, that it influenced me to a degree that my life is no longer the same. Otherwise, what's the purpose of it? Because as great Nietzsche said, he said, if a book or an idea doesn't make you sleepless at nights, if it doesn't spark in you inspiration, passion, it doesn't change your worldview to a degree that it will leave you sleepless, then it wasn't worth it at all. Of course, I don't want to cause you insomnia, but you can get the gist. I want to know Dante in a way that it changes the way I act. And he has a beautiful quote there. He says, "Beauty awakens our souls to act." It is such a beautiful, 5 or 6 words. Beauty awakens our souls to act. And I think Dante's Divine Comedy is such a beautiful poetry that it will awaken your soul from slumber and will make you act in a way that you need and you choose to. So how is this read-along going to work? Every week, I'm going to send you a letter, a post. It will have a short summary of each canto, and it will have a list of characters and their short descriptions, symbolisms, everything that you will need to understand this book deeply and enjoy it fully. Another section that this letter, this post will have is a philosophical exercise section. And I explore philosophical exercises in one of my posts. I will link it down below. But essentially, philosophical exercise is a message that Dante tried to tell you, tried to say us, in my interpretation, on how we should act. It is kind of a subtle, sublime message that I'll try to decipher from this book. I have to say, I'll be joined in this journey by 2 people who will help me. The first person is Lisa Statler, who you have seen. Perhaps she edited and proofread many of my pieces that you see on my newsletter. She's going to be joining us as a contributor, and she will have and add her own ideas about Divine Comedy. She admires Dante as well. And the second person will be Luana Montebello, who is our illustrator. She has designed our logo, which you'll see everywhere quite soon. And I'm very excited, and I feel very privileged to have their support in this journey. And of course, I think I didn't answer the question of why you should join this read-along. It is not only for the resources, but Dante is such a deep writer that each time you read his book, you interpret it differently. And I think if many of us will join, and if we'll be able to interact on chats that I'll create a chat space on Substack. I think by reading our impressions, by sharing our impressions, our interpretations and ideas of this wonderful book, about each chapter, I think we'll understand it better. It is different from reading alone and just having your own interpretation. I have to say, everything that I remember from what I've read this year is a result of joining many book clubs where people discuss different things. But I'm rambling now. This is an invitation to you, all of you, to join my Dante read-along this year. All you need is to subscribe to this newsletter and buy a copy of Dante, whichever one you choose. I added some descriptions down below of the translations that are out there, and you can choose which one you prefer. But this is all you need. I hope you enjoyed this video. There are much deeper explanations of how this read-along is going to proceed down below. You can please have a look there. Thank you so much for watching. I'm really hoping that you will be joining my read-along. And by the way, I forgot to say that it's going to be absolutely free. There might be some deep dive posts that will be behind paywall, but 99% of the material will be absolutely free for everyone if you wish to join. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the future posts, videos, podcasts, voiceovers. Bye everyone.